First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And I wanted to do this video. I was watching the live that the elder apostle Rhyme had done earlier this morning, titled "Addressing Some Comments," and it was based on some comments that were left on the live he did yesterday, called "Question from Comment Board" or "Question from the Comment Board." And as he was going into it, he mentioned a couple of things, and the spirit hit me. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I could do a lesson on that, which is not something new per se. We've heard it before, but nevertheless, we may have heard it before, but there's constantly newer individuals that are now waking up, and you know, coming from the world, there's a lot of different things that they have heard in the world that some of them may not know that biblically that's not really correct. So it's good that we go over these things again and again, keeping in mind that it's not just for us, but it's for, those that are newly coming in, that they may hear it and they may be aware. Of course, we have videos, and it's your job to be diligent to go and watch the videos and look through. Don't just look for the latest videos. Go through all the different videos. On the different elders and brothers in GMS. In our pages as well. Okay, and just look through. You'll see certain topics that have been covered. All right. I think there's a channel called GMS Archives, which has a whole lot of breakdowns and videos that the elders and apostles and brothers did a while back. So now, dealing with this video, with the topic of not engaging in sexual activity in the kingdom, okay, which I have a couple of precepts here that we're going to go into just to address that's false. Okay, according to the scriptures, in the kingdom of heaven, yes, there will be sex. Yes, there will be because first off, in order for some of the prophecies written of the things that will be happening in the kingdom of heaven to be fulfilled, you have to have sex. You have to have sexual intercourse between a man and a woman. We need to reproduce. Okay, we need to be fruitful. You have to multiply. All right. Now, so the first precept that I want to go to, because you have a couple of different things, and if you really try to imagine that, right, the kingdom of heaven, all right, is going to be here on the earth. That's number one that often a lot of these Christians don't understand. They imagine the kingdom of heaven to be in the spirit world, but those are two different places. The spirit world, the third heaven, is not the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom. Matter of fact, let's look up the word kingdom in the online etymology dictionary. Let's see, what does it tell us? Kingdom. All right, so it says here, the word kingdom, it says king plus dom. What do we have here? It says kingdom come, the next world, the hereafter, in reference to the spiritual reign of Hamashiach, or God of Hamashiach, which is not going to be the spiritual reign. Yahweh Shai is actually going to reign. All right, but it doesn't look like they really have that word put together on here. So maybe let's just look it up in the regular. See, kingdom definition. All right, so they have here a country or state or territory ruled by a king or queen. And then here they have the spiritual reign or authority of God. But we know that the kingdom of heaven is going to be here on earth, pertaining to Revelation 21. And I believe Revelation, the 5th chapter as well, where it says that he has made us kings and priests and we shall reign on the earth. Okay, so the kingdom of heaven is going to be here on earth. That's number one. And to be here on earth, we're going to have extraterrestrial bodies, but our bodies are still going to function, in a similar way, where we're still going to have desire. Now, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 29. It says, Yahushua answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God. And that's often the case where a lot of individuals don't read or study. In the book of Revelation, I believe it's even the first chapter, it tells you, blessed is he that readeth. You need to read these scriptures. You need to, and not just read it, but read it and understand it. And in order to understand some of these scriptures, you need to have it broken down to you. Okay? But a lot of individuals don't do that, and that's why they err. Okay? They error in the scriptures because they don't know. Most of the time, people come with hearsay. They come with, oh, this is what this is. They come with confidence as though they've done all the research and they have the proof of everything. But in actuality, they just heard it. So when you ask them questions about it, they get stuck. And then they try to run or change the subject. Okay? So now, moving on, the first thing is, which is, I don't plan on making this a long video because there's just one point that really came to mind when I heard this, which is the Lord is going to put the laws in our inward part, as we're reading here in Jeremiah 31 and 33 and 34, which means that we're not going to have to um, teach other Israelites what the law is because we're all going to have it within us. So now, what is a part of the law? You have a law on adultery, right? And adultery is when you lay with another man's wife. If one man, the way a man commits adultery is if a man lays with a woman that belongs to another man. That is adultery. And if a woman lays with any man outside of her husband, that is adultery, right? Now, when a man lays with a woman or when a woman lays with a man, that's sexually, right? So if there's a law that's going to be in effect in the kingdom of heaven, right? Because it's going to be within us and we're going to what? Enforce it. So if we're going to enforce these laws, why would the law of adultery still be in effect if there's going to be no sex, no laying down? If nobody's going to be laying down with anybody, why would you need to have a law that says you can't lay with your neighbor's wife? That's not going to be a problem because ain't nobody going to be laying down with anybody, right? So let's read Jeremiah 31 and 33. It says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts. So after what days? After the first heaven and the first earth are passed away. Revelation 21, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Okay, so after the days that we're living in now, when Yahushua comes back and we get beamed up and get changed, okay, that's when the Lord is going to put the laws in our inward parts. So those new bodies that we're put in is going to be programmed with the laws already within us. So by default, innately, we're going to have the laws as a part of us. Same way you breathe. Does anybody teach a baby how to breathe? No. Does anybody teach a baby how to cry? No. Does anybody teach a baby how to suck breast milk? No. They just do it, right? Naturally, it's within them. So that's how these laws are going to be. Just like you're not taught how to breathe, you just breathe. It's innate. Okay? It says, and write it in their hearts, meaning in our minds, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. So what's a part of the law? A part of the law is, also not eating abominable foods. But if we're not going to eat in the kingdom, why do we need to have this law? Why would any of these laws be in effect? Why would we have to enforce any of these laws? In the kingdom, ain't nobody going to be eating. Nobody's going to be laying down and populating and multiplying. So why have these laws? You do realize that the laws that the Lord gave us pertain to the earth. Really, they pertain to life here, how to live life on the earth. Because you don't need to have the law of adultery in the spirit world because you don't have desire like that. You don't have those kinds of desires to lay with a woman, and those apply to man on earth. So if we are not gonna have, if we're gonna just be spirits floating, sitting under some tree somewhere in some tall grass, like from the picture of one of them Jehovah Witness pamphlets, why would these laws need to be in our inward parts? Why would we need to know not to lay with another a woman or another man's wife if we're not going to be doing any laying down at all? And that's just one aspect. How would the 2/3, or let me say the Israelites that die on this side, how are they going to come back in the kingdom? there's prophecies that talk about little children in the kingdom. So what's going on there? Where are they going to come from? Are they just going to spawn out of the ground? It goes on, it says here, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, which are Israelites, saying, Know the Lord Yahweh, for they shall all know me. All Israel are going to know the Lord. And in Isaiah, I believe 49, it talks about how all Israel shall be saved, world without end, because we're going to be made perfect. And even those of our people that are wicked, that die on this side, are going to come back through the loins of the elect. Why is 7 women going to take hold of 1 man? Why does it say in 1 Timothy that women shall be saved in childbearing? For what? It says, From the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord, for I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So now let's go to the book of Zechariah, the 12th chapter and the 12th verse, which this is also a prophecy that's going to take place in the kingdom. All right. And let's see. Actually, let's start at verse 10. It says, And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Now, Zechariah, first off, is both Zechariah and Haggai. They are around the time of, I believe it is Zechariah and Haggai, are around the time of 522-ish, BC, when we were finishing or completing the building of the temple. And just to confirm that, let's go to Zechariah, the 1st chapter and the 1st verse. Right. It says, In the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, which is Darius the Persian, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo the prophet. So we know what time frame Zechariah is in, but at this point, King David was not even alive at this. But this is long after David's reign. Now, when I say King David, I mean as David. All right, the spirit of David was back on the earth, of course. Okay, but in the body of David, this was long after that time. Okay, but carrying on, it says, And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication, and they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son. So who is this? Who is it that they have pierced? Right? Who is it that they're going to mourn for as of his only son? This is talking about Yahushai. Now, Yahushai hadn't come on the scene and been pierced yet. So we know that this has to be a future prophecy. All right? And this is going to be in the kingdom. And as it says here, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son, and they shall be in bitterness for him as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. In that day there shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadad Drimon in the valley of Megiddon, which this hasn't happened yet. All right. Because what's the Lord going to do? He's going to, I remember the elder apostle Gabar doing a video going into it as well. The Lord is going to put on that body, basically, that he had on when he was pierced, when he was put on the cross. Okay, and we're going to remember that. And we're going to mourn. It says here, verse 12, And the land shall mourn. This is the key part, right? So it talks about the house of David. And then it says, And the land shall mourn, every family apart. Right? The family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart. The family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart. And then it goes on and goes on, right? So now here's the question. How do you get a wife? How does a woman become your wife? Does she just, oh, I like this woman, she's my wife now? No. There's an actual physical process that takes place for her to become your wife, which is when you pop her. So how do you explain this? Right? How do you explain this happening? And the last precept is in the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, which is also going into the kingdom. All right. And the main point I want to get is verse 5. It says, "And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins." And you can read really the whole chapter, which is good. But verse 6, it says, "The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid," which is a baby goat, "and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together." So now here is the question. We know this is not talking about now because a wolf is not going to dwell with the lamb. A wolf is going to tear that lamb up. Same with a leopard and a kid, and same with a calf and a young lion. They don't dwell at these animals in this time are carnivores. So they eat meat, they eat other animals. But here, clearly there's going to be a setting where that's not going to be the case. And that's going to be where? That's going to be in the kingdom. Now, what does the following part say? "And a little child shall lead them." Whoa, wait a minute. A little child shall lead them. So now, where is this little child going to come from? Now, let's keep going down. It says, "And the cow and the bear shall feed their young ones." It says, Slakia shall feed, their young ones shall lie down together. A cow and a bear? Are you going to see that happening here? "And the lion shall eat straw like the ox," meaning they're going to become herbivores. That's not here. That's going to be in the kingdom. So that's a future prophecy. So in that same setting in the kingdom, what does it say? Verse 8, "And the sucking child." Whoa, wait, hold on 1 second. The sucking child. Where the hell is the sucking child going to come from? A child comes from the union between a man and a woman. It says, "Shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child." So you're going to have the baby children that are still sucking, and then the ones that are weaned from the breast. What? When does a woman start lactating? Does she just up one day and just start lactating? No. This is during that whole period of having a child, when her body is her body knows, obviously, so her body is prepared to be able to take care of the child. It says what? "And the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice den, and they shall not hurt nor destroy all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea." Once again, when is this going to happen? This is going to happen in the kingdom of heaven. "And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious." Okay, so this is talking about the kingdom of heaven. And so back to the point, which is, where are these children going to come from? If there's going to be no sex in the kingdom, no multiplying, how is one going to become a nation? And where are these children going to come from? You see? And that's why I read in the beginning, "Ye do err not knowing the scriptures," because if you did, you would understand that, hold on, that can't make sense. Because how do we explain Zechariah 12? How do we explain Isaiah 11? How do we explain all these other precepts? You can't. Because there is going to be sex in the kingdom. The Lord said, "Be fruitful and multiply." And that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay? So anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying and informative to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.